Hey everybody, Tim Norris here.
And Carmen Norris, and today we're going to talk about games you might not be playing.
But you should.
You know, come game night, everyone wants to learn the brand new game everybody's talking about.
And your game has fallen off the Board Game Geek hotness list. Your game is not the new and shiny anymore.
Your game is sitting on the shelf all alone.
Your friends have never played your game.
But they should.
Ginkgo biloba, the oldest and strongest tree in the world, has become the symbol of a new method for building cities in symbiosis with nature. Humans have exhausted the resources that the earth offered them, and humanity must now develop cities that maintain a delicate balance between resource production and consumption. However, habitable space is scarce, and mankind must now face the challenge of building ever upwards. To develop this new type of city, you will gather a team of experts around you and try to become the best urban planner for Ginkgopolis.
First, each player chooses a color. Chooses a color. Who chose these colors? Who wants this mauve? Orange? Natural? Yeah.
Each player is going to take a player screen and 2 new hand tokens. Taking the player screen, placing it down in front of them, and placing the 2 new hand token tiles behind it.
Next, you're going to take the building tiles, of which we have red, yellow, and blue, and take the 1, 2, and 3 of each color and set them up in a 3x3 grid. Next, we place letters of the alphabet in alphabetical order, I don't know why, around the board. These are called urbanization tokens. Shuffle the remaining building tiles and place them in face-down stacks, where you place your success points and your construction site tokens.
Each one of the urbanization tiles has a card that represents it, as you can see here. You're going to take all 12 of these, and you're going to mix them with the building cards. There are 3 distinctive colors. We have blue, yellow, and red, and each one of them has their own unique deck, numbered 1 through 20. You're going to take the 1, 2, 3 out of each one of the 3 colors, and you're going to mix them with the urbanization cards to create your first deck. Mix them together, place them face down, and it's ready. Now, the back of the box of Ginkgopolis claimed that you're trying to gather a team of experts to be able to construct this grand city. But in the reality, you don't really feel that. In fact, the only time that you're ever going to have cards with people on them is when you get your 4 character cards at the beginning of the game. And you're going to draft one of these cards, passing the remaining 3 cards to the player on your left, thus receiving the 3 cards from the player on your right. Select another one until you have selected 3, discarding the final card, and then we are ready to start playing Ginkgopolis. However, what is the purpose of these character cards? Now, each one of these character cards is going to allow you to start with a certain amount of items, and each one of those items is listed up here in the upper left-hand corner of each one of the cards. We have resources that you're going to gather of your color. We also have victory points that you're going to be able to gain. And last but not least, it'll tell you if you're able to grab any tiles that you're going to draw blindly off of the tops of each one of the stacks. Gather all of these items and place them behind your player screen. The screens in Ginkgopolis serve a very important purpose. You see, all the items that you gather throughout this game are hidden behind this screen, secret away from your opponent. The only thing that they're aware of are the building cards that you've gathered throughout the entire game. Other than that, you want to try to exude confidence that you have this mountain of resources hidden behind this screen, that you're able to perform any action that you wish to.
Man, I don't have enough resources to do what I need to do.
Yeah, I don't really have enough resources, but I'm going to play it cool anyways. To try to get your friends to want to play this game, just simply open up the box and show them the components. They are beautiful to look at, they're aesthetically pleasing, or for some of you, eye candy. Take a look at these player screens. Each person is going to have their choice of their own unique player screen that has different artwork and also colors on the background. The board itself, if you want to take a look at it towards the late game, is just beautiful to look at, and all the colors just pop out at you.
The first player for each round is going to have this card. And then every player is going to choose one of their 4 cards to play, with or without a tile. There are 3 actions to take: urbanizing, exploiting, and constructing. So I'm going to choose to urbanize this turn. I'm going to play my card and my tile, place them face down in front of me, and we will all reveal them simultaneously. In order to urbanize, I'm going to choose one of these letters of the alphabet around the board, and I'm going to place my tile right in their spot. The letter gets moved off to any side, and I place my resource and a construction marker on the tile. The card gets discarded, and now I'm going to determine what kind of bonus I get for urbanizing. In this case, I'm going to receive 1 tile Now, if I were next to a red tile, I would receive a resource, and if I were next to a yellow tile, I would receive a success point. I'm also going to look at my team of experts and see if I get a bonus. In this case, I do get a bonus for urbanizing, which is 1 resource, so I'm going to gather that up as well.
And now that you have an idea on how to urbanize, why don't we show you how to construct? In urbanizing, use the letters. Constructing a floor, use the numbers. Select one of your cards that you wish to try to construct the floor on. You're going to match the color and the number of that tile. That 2 is right here. Select one of your tiles, and you're going to place it on top of that tile. Now, depending on how many tiles, or in this case we like to call them floors, will determine how many resources of yours are going to go on top of it. In this case, we have 2 floors, so we'll put 2 of my resources. However, don't forget your new construction token to put on top of it, and that's important, and we'll explain here in just a minute. Now, what's neat about constructing a floor is that this card here becomes a part of my tableau. So we're going to move this down over to here and place it next to my 3 character cards that I selected at the beginning of the game. However, there's a couple of rules I want to explain first up here about constructing a floor that are very important. If ever you play a card and build a tile on top of a floor of a different color, you will have to pay 1 extra resource from your supply out into the pool. If ever you play a tile that is of a lesser value numerically than the tile you are playing on top of, you will have to pay the difference in victory points. What do I mean by that? Well, let's say that this was reversed, that the 13 was, I was playing the 2 on top of the 13. I would then have to pay 11 victory points to play this tile. Yeah, that's a hefty penalty. In this case, I am safe, and then we're going to move down here to see if I get any bonuses. If you notice, this was the urbanizing bonus that Carmen explained just a minute ago. This is the constructing a floor bonus. So in this case, I am going to get 1 extra resource and a success point. Now that Carmen and I have both played a card out of her hand, we actually change hands, which means my 3 cards are going to go to her, and her 3 cards are going to come to me. Then each of us are going to draw an extra card to make sure we both have 4 cards at the beginning of the turn. However, the other thing that happens is initiative will change as well. The third and final action that you can perform on your turn is called exploiting. When you exploit, you can discard either lettered cards or numbered cards. Letter cards are going to allow you to take either a resource or a tile from the general supply to add behind your screen. Numbered cards, however, will give you the amount of items depending on how many floors are built in that location. For example, the 13 red, the floor we had built just a minute ago, has 2 of the floors built in that location. That means discarding that and using an exploit action on it would allow me then to take 2 resources from the general supply and add them behind my screen. Now, if that had been a blue location, that would have given me tiles and yellow locations success points. Once we're done with that, let's come down here and look at our character cards. Every time that I use the exploitation, it shows here that I gain 1 success point. So let's go over here to the general supply, gather our success point, put it behind our screen.
Now it's time to draw a new card. But there's none left. We can't just shuffle the discard pile because we've been adding building cards to our tableau. We're going to have to get new building cards into this card pile somehow. That's where the construction markers come in. Remove the construction marker, find the corresponding building card, which is a 9 blue in this case, and a 13 red. We're going to add those to the discard pile. And notice now we're going to have these available to build on top of these tiles. Shuffle it up, we've got a new draw pile.
Well, just like what Upwards did to Scrabble, this game just did to Carcassonne. In that, in Carcassonne, you're always just expanding upon the board, making a bigger map. But this one, you're also building it up in a 3D environment. And this game has traces of a deck builder in it as well. Not that you're deck building, but in a deck builder game, you're trying to create an engine by trying to get the right cards into your hand. And this one does the exact same thing, so that you can maximize your actions every turn.
We noticed that with the screen right in front of you, you're using resources from behind it to put on the board and it gets knocked right over. So we recommend that you play with your screen over to the side. I I really love that there's just a variety of ways of getting success points and winning this game. Once you get a card that gives you in-game success points, you can base your actions around that and get more and more as the game progresses. Or you can try to get a card after you already are well established in a color that's going to give you success points for that at the end of the game. You can also concentrate on getting those success points during the game and then just ending the game quickly before your opponent has a chance to catch up.
Ginkgopolis can end in one of two different fashions. The first way that it could possibly end is if all the tiles have been removed from the general supply. For instance, if these last two tiles were added behind my screen, we would then go into what I like to call an auction. And what I mean by that is that each player then is going to select an amount of tiles from behind their screen that they're going to return back to the general supply. For each tile you return, you will gain a success point. If nobody returns any tiles, well, the game will definitely end. Once the general supply runs out the second time, the game is over. The second way that the game could possibly end is if one player has no more available resources in either the general supply or behind their screen that they could possibly place anywhere on the board. Once that person runs out of these resources, the game will end at the end of that round. Then we will go into the scoring phase.
That's all my resources. Game over.
Already? Once the game ends, each person will tally up their success points. Count up the success points you've gained throughout the game that are behind your screen. You'll also get success points based upon in-game victory conditions on cards. For instance, this one here gives you 2 points for each blue card you have in your tableau. Then on the playing board itself, you're going to gain success points. You're going to gain them for districts. Districts are 2 or more buildings that are adjacent to the same color. So for instance, these 2 red ones down here that I own, because I'm the only person with resources on them, I would then gain 2 points for each one of these resources on top of the building because I am the only person in that district. Carmen is the only person in this district, so she would gain 2 points for each one of her resources, or she would gain 4, I would have gained 8. The yellow district here, though, Carmen and I both own. And she has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, but I only have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So that means Carmen has majority, so she would gain 19 points, scoring 1 point for each one of my resources and hers. Because I'm in second, I would score 9 points, 1 point for each one of my own. Once each person has tallied up their entire score, the person with the highest score wins. In case of a tie, set it up, play again. Well, thanks for watching this episode of Games You Might Not Be Playing.
Bet you should.
Now, we are always looking for games that play well with just the 2 of us, and Ginkgopolis fits that bill perfectly.
So I hope we really got across how much we enjoy the game and you learned a bit about it.
Now, if you feel like there's a game out there that doesn't get enough exposure, well, feel free to write us at this email address you see here, or just leave a comment below, and we'll do our best to feature it on a future video.
And remember, next time somebody brings out a game you've never heard of before and you're not sure if you should try it,
You should.
should.
Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.